Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is 2012, and we're going to talk about 12-21-12, hopefully until 12-21-12, but not without breaks. That is, hopefully, we'll be on weekly until December 21st, 2012. Enjoy.
Your cable boxes and computers have microphones in them. Your cell phones well hung up are microphones. All cell phone activities are recorded. They can hear us whisper. Cameras everywhere, and soon your money will have RFID technology and will be traceable. They're putting 80 satellites in space and will track everyone going in and out of a building. Welcome to 2012, the production. The production that had jeopardized my life and social status to bring to you. I'm going to take the time to promote EternityJumper.com. A nothing to buy, nothing to sell, no ads, scripture explaining scripture study guide on the creation flood and day of the Lord, which I am committed to offer at no cost. That's EternityJumper.com. Check back with the site from time to time. More treasures will be added. If you think you have or know high technology, whether in school or work or play, have someone nail you to a cross, and when you get dry mouth, have someone put vinegar on your tongue, and after you die, have someone stick a sword in you, and come see me in 3 days and tell me how it went. This is the first 2012 production of 2012, though we've been in the last year of the Mayan calendar for about 2 weeks. We're going to start off where we left off, and that will be with some more statements from the remaining elite to Pastor Lindsey Williams. But first, according to FEMA, there were 99 declared disasters in 2011, from earthquakes, storms, flooding, tropical storms. We'll keep track throughout 2012. And they're threatening war against Iran, and President Obama is moving troops to Australia to be prepared for a war with China. And ladies and gentlemen, that last year was the most disasters declared in the United States history. And we will continue on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Pastor Lindsey Williams. Pastor Lindsey Williams is an interesting person. He spent 3 years as a pastor to the workers on the pipeline in the Alaska pipeline, and because he was helping the workers' psychological health, he was invited by who he calls the elite to the top meetings and in the oil companies and in the oil companies, and refers to them as the elite. A few of these elite, as he calls them, kept contact and would tell them of things that were going to happen. So we'll look at a few of his most recent communications with the elite. The elite told him 2012 was going to be the most eventful in 2,000 years. War with Iran. Israel will not fire first shot. The elite told him Iran will be intimidated to the first shot. Attack on Iran no later than September, October 2012. It will be the beginning of World War III. Some say, ladies and gentlemen, that we are already in World War III, but I will continue. The elite told him to watch China. Pastor Lindsey Williams' conversation with the last contact alive, the last elite as he calls them, everything that the elite had told him, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the some odd years, 30 some odd years, came true. And he's down, and there's one elite, as he calls them, that is still living. And he stated there will be no final collapse now, no financial collapse now, ladies and gentlemen, but it will happen. War with Iran in future months. November 21st, 2012, Pastor Lindsey Williams stated, there was at the National Economic Club, Mr. Bernanke made a speech. When he lived with the elite, the code of ethics was, they had a code of ethics, ladies and gentlemen, the elite. And their code of ethics was that they must tell you before they do everything they're going to do. Now, Federal Reserve buys their own bills. Federal Reserve have $3 trillion of the national debt. Mr. Bernanke, who became chairman of the Federal Reserve, said that he will do 5 things. If ever faced with another 1929 or 31-33 depression, he will lower interest rates to 0. So he said he would lower the interest rates to 0. Now, of course, they've already lowered the interest rates. Number 2, I will buy securities. Bernanke said he would buy securities from the banks to expand Fed's balance sheet, and this he has done. Number 3, he will increase the money supply. He did this. Number 4, buy our country's debt. 1 year ago, ladies and gentlemen, they bought it. Number 5, if he is faced with continual depression, he will devalue the dollar. China has said they and Japan would trade amongst themselves and not use the dollar. And Bernanke said he would devalue the dollar by 40%. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Lindsey Williams said that the elite have a code of ethics, and the code of ethics is that they must tell exactly everything they're going to do before they do it. And that was Bernanke. What I just read was Bernanke who was saying what he would do, and he's done almost all of them. Now we'll continue on to what do the experts think about 2012 prophecies? What has them afraid? These are the 2012 prophecies that scientists say are the most likely to come to pass. Are the 2012 and this, ladies and gentlemen, is off of Squeedo.com, ladies and gentlemen, and it's what do the experts think about 2012 prophecies. Are the 2012 prophecies of doomsday anything that you should be concerned about? Well, many experts believe that there are a number of events that could result in catastrophic consequences. Some of these are much more likely to occur than others, but all are certainly possible. These predictions or prophecies are based mostly on the Mayan calendar, but many scientists are afraid that it goes beyond this to legitimate scientific concerns. to legitimate scientific concerns. And religious people believe this could be related to the end times. What 2012 prophecies did the Mayan calendar foresee? So let's examine this Mayan calendar. The Mayans developed a calendar that goes back approximately 26,000 years to what they considered to be the beginning or the creation. According to their ancient astronomers, this point of creation occurred when the sun, the moon, and the earth were in a line pointing to the center of the Milky Way. They believed that this place was the center of creation. What's interesting about this is we now know that the center of the Milky Way contains a massive black hole, as do almost all galaxies, where many astronomers believe that our galaxy evolved, was created. Fast forward to the present, and you have a great period consisting of 13 backtons, being 5,125 years. That comes to an end on December 21st, 2012, on the winter solstice. This is only a couple of weeks short of the Earth's point of perihelion, where the Earth's elliptical orbit is the nearest to the Sun. Does this distance really matter? Well, in the event of a solar burst or a flare, it might. This scenario is the most likely, and I'll mention more about it a little later. And ladies and gentlemen, again, this is off of Squeedo.com, what experts think about the 2012 prophecies. Another thing to consider is that this end that is coming is just the start of a new age. An example of this is when the Bible refers to the end of the world. It is actually talking about the end of the current age and the start of the next. And you should be looking forward to the next one. It's going to be awesome. My particular area of expertise is in Bible prophecy and the various government conspiracies. On topics such as 2012 prophecies, you should check out the 2012 official countdown site for the latest updates and how to be prepared for what is coming. I believe it is the most informative site on the subject. I would seriously go check them out. It's pretty cool. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is from Squeedo.com, and we will continue on. If the Mayan calendar actually is prophesying an apocalyptic happening on December 21st, 2012, then what might they be talking about? This is what the experts think. Solar phenomena. This is the event that is the most likely and the one that has the scientists the most concerned. Large-scale solar flares occur about every 150 years or so, and the massive ones about every 500 years. Astronomers believe that we are long overdue for this type of event, and recent solar activity over the last decade suggests that it could be one of the massive ones. The last event of this type occurred in 1859. Luckily, they didn't have the electronics and power grids that we have now, or they would have been in real trouble. As it was, it almost ruined their early telegraph system. If one were to strike today, it would have the equivalent electromagnetic effect of a hydrogen bomb exploded in the atmosphere, except instead of being localized, it would cover the whole planet. Our power grids and electronics would be destroyed. This could be avoided by insulating the grid. The government has been talking about doing this. I just hope they hurry the hell up. That's what it says, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we will continue on, and again, this is off of Squeedo.com. What do the experts think about 2012 prophecies? The tribulation. I'm talking about the book of Revelation, folks. This one also has a strong possibility of happening in 2012. We might not know the day or the hour, but world events point to the second coming. Just remember that the catastrophic event in this case is the Antichrist, the devil pretending to be Jesus, deceiving the world. I don't mean to scare anybody, but you need to know your scripture now. This is one homework assignment that really shouldn't be put off until the last minute. And we will continue on. Planet X. A lot of people have been talking about this one on the internet. It is an interesting thought, although it is just not very likely. Worlds collide might sound scary, but the odds are astronomical against it happening. Crust shifting. This could be much more destructive than pole shifting. When some force causes the Earth's crust to shift, the result is many large earthquakes scattered around the globe. The massive quake in Japan has to make you wonder if this has already started. There are also a bunch of other possibilities such as pole shifting, mass extinction, famine, and many other less likely scenarios. Again, I would check out the 2012 official countdown site to make sure that you'll be prepared. They investigate these 2012 prophecies in much more depth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, that was What Do the Experts Think About 2012 Prophecies off of Squeedo.com. And we're going to continue on, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to continue on to New World Order 2012. The New World Order 2012 has been used by numerous politicians through the ages and is a generic term used to refer to a worldwide conspiracy being organized by an extremely powerful and influential group of genetically related individuals belonging to the highest class, which include many of the world's wealthiest people, top political leaders, and corporate elite, as well as members of the so-called black nobility of Europe, whose goal is to create a one-world government using a fascist ideology. Their intention is said to influence complete and total control over every human being on the planet and to reduce the world's population by 2/3. While the name New World Order is the term most frequently used today to loosely refer to anyone involved in this conspiracy, the study of exactly who makes up this group is a complex and intricate one. New World Order 2012 is also used to refer to a purported conspiratorial organization which acts as a shadowy power behind the throne, allegedly controlling world affairs through present-day governments and corporations. This organization is a modern incarnation or continuation of the Bavarian Illuminati. Most members of the Illuminati are also members of the highest ranks of numerous secretive and occult societies, which in many cases extend straight back into the ancient world. The common theme in conspiracy theories about the New World Order 2012 year is that a powerful and secretive elite with a globalist agenda is conspiring to eventually rule the world through an autonomous world government, which would replace sovereign nation states and put an end to international power struggles. They have always been there. They inherit the power from their parents or close relatives. Their four main priorities are power, interbreeding, wealth and control. Wealth and control. It's in their blood, and they want to keep their blood clean and not contaminated with blood from us ordinary lesser people, not of the ruling class. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is New World Order 2012 from 2012prophecies.com. In 1992, Dr. John Coleman published Conspirators' Hierarchy, the story of the Committee of 300. With laudable scholarship and meticulous research, Dr. Coleman identifies the players and carefully details the Illuminati agenda of worldwide domination and control. To quote an excerpt from his book, "A one-world government and one-unit monetary system under permanent non-elected hereditary oligarchists who self-select from among their numbers in the form of a feudal system as it was in the Middle Ages. In this one-world entity, population will be limited by restrictions on the number of children per family, diseases, wars, famines, until 1 billion people who are useful to the ruling class in areas which will be strictly and clearly defined remain as the total world population. There will be no middle class, only rulers and the servants. All laws will be uniform under a legal system of world courts practicing the same unified code of laws, backed up by a one-world government, police force, and a one-world unified military to enforce laws in all former countries where no national boundaries shall exist. The system will be on the basis of a welfare state. Those who are obedient and subservient to the one-world government will be rewarded with the means to live. Those who are rebellious will simply be starved to death or be declared outlaws. Thus, a target for anyone who wishes to kill them. Privately owned firearms or weapons of any kind will be prohibited. The New World Order, the New World Order will see completion of their conspiracy by the end of 2012. Why 2012? Because the New World Order has never been solely about world government. Its advocates have been privy to secret doctrines, and its plan is spiritual more than anything. They are obsessed with numerology, and according to their occult knowledge, the year 2012 holds special power when unseen forces will be unleashed. And again, ladies and gentlemen, that's under New World Order at 2012prophecies.com. And we will look at the ancient technology, and the ancient technology is working well, and the knobs are turning, and the switches are switching, and the ancient technology is working well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take the next couple minutes here to talk about the FEMA camps, ladies and gentlemen. They've put out an ad. The government's put out an ad for companies to run the FEMA camps, and that they're to be ready on a 72-hour notice. And it's probably because they're looking for and anticipating an uprising. So And you wouldn't really, in the days we're living in, you wouldn't be surprised at that at all, really. And so we'll continue on. I'd like to challenge you to visit eternityjumper.com, a no buy, no sell, no advertising website that explores the creation, flood, and day of the Lord. I recommend taking a look at the page on the Father's presence in the end. Sometimes you have to get out of the box, ladies and gentlemen, and look at other views on Scripture, because obviously nobody has disappeared in a rapturo and probably never will. EternityJumper.com is a well thought out study guide that provides a serious guide that may open your eyes to the simpleness in Scripture that God has to offer. Now, I will read some unknown prophecies to you, ladies and gentlemen, and even those of you who aren't ladies and gentlemen. As the prophecy states, there will be a person who will have a bag on his head and use ancient technology to wake the people up to the world around them, and will use prophecies of other peoples and cultures to explain the times they live in and shake them and plead with all flesh to warn them to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And we're going to look at the ancient technology, and the ancient technology is working well, and the knobs are turning and the switches are switching, and the ancient technology is working well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have, 12 months to the end of the Mayan calendar. So we're going to keep track of hurricanes, earthquakes, storms. We're going to keep track of solar flares, if there's any solar activity. We're going to keep track of the Middle East, ladies and gentlemen, because we know that's a very pressing issue, is the Middle East. And of course, it does say that Jerusalem shall be a trembling cup before all nations, ladies and gentlemen. And those of you who aren't ladies and gentlemen. And we'll continue with this, continue and be vigilant as far as keeping up with these numbers and that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you'll find, if I encourage you to go to eternityjumper.com, ladies and gentlemen. And what you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, is a Scripture Explaining Scripture study guide. And I encourage you to look at the Father and Jesus Christ's presence in the end, because there is a constant presence within the book of Revelation. And of course, the two of them are brought together as laid out in Daniel, ladies and gentlemen, the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. And see, as far as, the Antichrist says, an Antichrist is somebody who says that Jesus Christ didn't come in the flesh, okay, ladies and gentlemen. But, well, of course, Jesus Christ will come, and so will, and the Father will pass through, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll continue on that in future shows, ladies and gentlemen. And now we will end with this question. For those of you who get your power from Satan, what are you going to do without your leader?